We're talking here at the IPI World Congress about building the journalism we need. What does that mean to you, and what are the most important steps to doing so, in your opinion?
There are obviously huge challenges facing the media industry at the moment to do with the business model that many organizations face, but also some of the difficulties that arise from the increasing insecurity of journalists, and whether that be authoritarian or lawless areas of the world where it's very difficult for journalists to report. So we've got a huge challenge to make sure that we're able to fund journalism properly, that we're able to go to the places that we need to go to, and we're able to do the responsible reporting that it seems more than ever people need.
In terms of funding journalism, in terms of investing in new technologies or meeting new challenges, how do you do that as the traditional journalism business model becomes less and less viable?
Well, I think if you're in the public broadcasting sphere, the situation is a little different to the commercially funded media organizations. They've clearly seen a big squeeze on particularly their advertising revenue. In the case of a publicly funded broadcaster, public service broadcaster, we have guaranteed funding through the license fee mechanism, everyone making a contribution. But that's been a flat source of funding in recent years. So although the financial pressures aren't perhaps as acute as they are elsewhere in the media sector, it's still the case that an organisation like the BBC has to find ways to free resources from what it's traditionally done in the past in order to make available the funds to move into the new digital spaces, particularly online and social media, that increasingly is the place where audiences want to find their news.
We've heard an argument that there seems to be a growing acceptance of inaccuracy online in terms of content that's posted there. Would you agree that seems to be growing? And if so, what should be the response of the journalist community?
To be honest, it's not something I recognise from a BBC perspective. I think that the requirements for accuracy and built on that, the trust of the audience, that's never been more important or more closely focused upon by us as an organisation. I think it's true that there's been a proliferation of news sources, what people talk about as the mainstream media, and then the other media that has sprung up. And I think there is a pressure and a tension in terms of people not necessarily being able to trust and rightly being sceptical about the sources of information they see. So I think we're seeing a mixed landscape in which many organizations are as committed to accuracy and building trust as they ever have been, and they see it as an important route to holding and gaining the trust and attention of audiences, together with many new players who sometimes have a greater inaccuracy, sometimes they're deliberately peddling false news. So we're seeing a spectrum of things.
Thank you very much for speaking with us.
You're very welcome.